What kind of barbarian was Barbara Streisand? Berserker, maybe? Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, should we...
The pronounced muscles of his broad shoulders and back ripple with the simple action of brushing a whetstone along the blade of his great axe. He wears no armor, a practice that has resulted in many scars from what must have been dozens of battles. He lifts his head from his task, turning it slightly to reveal a tusked mouth and heavy brow. The half-orc knows you're looking. This scene, Narg the Half-Orc Berserker, is brought to you by Describe. Describe, ready, roleplay. Visit Describe.com/RPGBot and use coupon code RPGBot at checkout for 5% off your first subscription payment.
Ooh, brother. Like that 3 minutes of playtime.
Welcome to the RPGBOT.Podcast. I'm Randall James, and with me is Tyler Campstra.
Hi, everybody. The Tylerist of Campstra is here. I can't do anything with this. I'm sorry,
brother. And Ash Eli.
Something to say to the Randall the Rock. I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna choke you with my bicep. You don't ever diss my mother again.
That's fair.
Tonight at the Steel Cage Menace Slam.
After all, despite all of our rage, we're still... Oh, so on and so forth. Yeah.
I love you, brother. Come over here and give me a hug. What are we talking about today?
I don't know.
We're okay. This is a bit of a deviation from our usual subject matter on the podcast. We're delving into the history books a little bit, and tonight we're going to be reviewing the one-time, briefly popular WWE role-playing game.
No, that's not what we're doing.
Okay, that's fine.
Tell
that
people
was a thing,
what we're
though.
actually doing. That's insane that's a thing. I believe you that was a thing, but that sounds horrible.
Yes.
I'm debating about taking the opposite side of the bet.
What's the opposite side of that bet?
That it didn't exist and you're just making this up.
I'm fairly certain it did exist. Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, did you roleplay as like wrestlers, or did you roleplay as wrestlers role-playing as wrestlers?
Man, I didn't read
Like,
it. I don't know.
dude.
Can we talk about barbarians, please?
Let's talk about
Would you rather? Would you rather?
Yes.
We're
Let's
talking
do
enough
that
about
instead.
we're discussing too much of large, sweaty men for my comfort right now.
Yeah,
Well,
instead, let's talk about shirtless barbarians.
Yeah, exactly. The kind
Okay,
that I
that's fine.
actually want to take me to bed. Yes, please. I would appreciate that.
All right.
Write that
Okay.
down.
All right. Barbarians. Tonight we're going to optimize D&D 5e's Barbarians. As we draw closer and closer to the end of the list of classes in 5th edition, we finally come to the Barbarian, the angriest boy, the most furious character at the table at any given time, the literal meat shield in many cases. We're going to dig into what makes them good.
The frat bros of the D&D world.
But hey, we should try to be gender inclusive. They're angry women. They're frat girls.
And
What-
we
what's
stand. No, Amazonian beauty. Excuse me. We stand an Amazonian rage barbarian who could crush me with her bicep. That's hot. Yes.
I feel like this episode has a very, very specific tone today. Anyway,
It is. Be prepared to continue to be uncomfortable, Tyler, because I'm going to make a lot of these jokes. I hope you're ready for them. It's the only way that I can make this entertaining for me, because I think barbarians are boring.
okay.
That's actually the first time most people have benefited in this podcast so far.
All right.
They were with you till that.
So let me start off by telling you the coolest thing about barbarians: math.
No, I'm
Go
already
on.
falling asleep.
All right. We're gonna jump right in.
Why'd you make it worse for me?
I know. I love it. Math, rage, and math. All right, we're gonna jump right into the basics. So, race, ability scores, as always. Barbarians are pretty simple. You need a lot of strength. You need constitution for those hit points. There is room for debate, and we'll have this discussion in just a minute. There's room for debate about how much dexterity you actually need, and then wisdom for like saves and skills. So mostly it's strength and constitution, and then a little splash of everything else, depending on what you want your character to look like. A lot of people will build their barbarians like 15s in strength, dexterity, and constitution, and like get all three of those to 16 at level 1. And that's perfectly fine. It's going to cost you later. But if you want to lean into unarmored defense, sure. Let's see. So barbarians famously have the largest hit die. They're the only class with a D12 hit die. And to the best of my knowledge, that has been true as long as barbarians have existed in D&D. Now, it's possible that in AD&D, I have that wrong. Like, don't take me at my word on that one. But at least as far back as 3rd edition, barbarians have had D12 hit dice. And that's become just kind of a signature of the class. You get 2 things that are the same about barbarians in every edition. It's D12 hit dice, rage.
And here's they're going to need the D12 hit dice.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, because they're going to get hit. They're going to get hit a lot.
Yep.
Did barbarians even exist in AD&D? I can't remember if they did.
I can't remember if they were a standalone class or if they were like a kit for the fighter or something. I should have gone back and checked before this episode, and I didn't think about it. It's been a week.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. While Randall looks that up, let's talk about those weapon proficiencies. So you get martial weapons, of course, only medium armor and shield. So like you're not going to be stomping around in full plate. And a lot of the barbarians features actually don't function if you're wearing heavy armor. So the best you can do is half plate.
Just looked up. It was a kit for the fighter. It was not a standalone class.
Okay, so they did exist, but not as a standalone class. Okay. All right, so the armor stuff for barbarians is a little bit interesting. Like, I want to talk about unarmored defense real quick, because there is, let's see, unarmored defense is one of those signature things for the barbarian in 5e, because you want that fantasy of running into battle with a great axe and a loincloth and messing folks up and still coming out the other side. So unarmored defense lets you do 10 plus dexterity plus constitution for your AC, as long as you're not wearing armor. Now, that looks very appealing because in your head it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get dexterity to 20 and constitution to 20, and I'm going to have 20 AC without any equipment. It's going to be great. But
you're not going to do that.
You're not going to do that.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you have feats in your game, you're not going to do that. The feats are so much better than what you're going to get from 28 and 20 dexterity. So realistically, the best thing you could do is 14 dexterity, half plate armor. That gets you to an AC of 17, which, like, to match that with unarmored defense, you need like 16 dex and 18 constitution. Like, why invest enough in dexterity to actually do that when you could just have 14 dexterity and put points elsewhere? So the math on unarmored defense really is just hard to justify in most games. Just don't do it.
I mean, there's also the fact that pretty much all of your abilities scale off of strength. So if you want to be able to do damage at all, putting points in your dexterity is essentially a waste.
Exactly.
And besides, with Barbarian Resistance, you don't care about getting hit. You have so many hit points. You have effectively double your hit points against physical attacks. So being hit is not an issue, really. Granted, I think you'll start to feel it more towards the end of the game when most of the attacks are magical based, and that's going to be real rough for barbarians.
Yeah. All right. See, so barbarian saves strength and constitution makes a lot of sense. You're going to have good stats in both of those, so those saves are covered very, very nicely. Anything that targets your mental saves, like you're in trouble. Hopefully your party can help you, because like even if you put a few points into wisdom, you're probably in bad shape.
Yeah.
Barbarian skills kind of suck. Unfortunately, you get the standard 2. The list isn't fantastic. Animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. Like, of those skills, the only ones that the barbarian is realistically going to use are athletics and perception.
Yep. Although, if you can convince your DM to let you roll intimidation with strength, doing like a feat of strength instead of rolling it with charisma, then intimidation is going to make sense. And that's a very reasonable thing, DMs out there, for you to do for your barbarian to make this a little bit more fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you could do what they did in Baldur's Gate 3, which is you scream at people with your intimidation, so you get a special lower DC because you're a barbarian than normal people would.
All right.
So you could do it that way too. But yeah, I would say if you're I'm usually willing to let people use strength for intimidation. I think that makes sense. Obviously, the barbarian's going to be more intimidating physically just by standing there than the bard is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's stupid that they don't let you do that baseline. So just talk to your DM. I'm sure most DMs would be willing to work with you on that.
Yeah. All right. So if you're looking at skills outside of the barbarians list, so like if you're looking at what you're going to get from your background, stealth is a surprisingly good choice on barbarians. You're probably going to be in half plate armor, which will give you disadvantage. But like if you're willing to drop that 1 AC, you can actually be pretty decent at stealth in a breastplate and still have passable armor class. So you're decently durable. You're not going to get hit constantly. And then, yeah, if your party doesn't have a rogue, then yeah, it might be you, the sneaky, angry person. Let's see. So one of the big skills really highlight one of the big problems with the barbarian. They're one of those classes where you have almost no function outside of combat. Like, especially if your GM isn't willing to let you use strength or intimidation. Like, you go into a social situation, it's like, great, I have no relevant skills and -1 charisma. What do you want me to do here? Fortunately, we do have the optional class feature Primal Knowledge, which comes online at level 3, which will give you a couple of extra skills over time. It's not fantastic, like you're still going to struggle a lot outside of combat, but it's something.
Yeah, that also makes barbarians wonderful to play. Like if you're at a table of folks who love to roleplay and honestly you're there for the combat, maybe the barbarian's for you. Like it makes sense that you don't know what to say when somebody asks you a question. Just, I don't know, you're playing your character as yourself.
Yeah, that being said, barbarians are really good for people who don't really care a lot about the roleplay stuff. And they're just here for the fighting. Like that was one of the big positives for Travis in Critical Role. He wasn't big on the whole role-playing stuff. He just liked hitting things. And it worked out pretty well for him as a barbarian with 8 intelligence, or I think it was 6 intelligence. And then that sort of changed over time. He started to get more into the roleplay. So if you're trying to convince your friend who thinks that, role-playing is weird and stupid to play D&D, just be like, hey, you could be a big beefy guy who hits things really hard and smashes them. And they'll be like, cool, that sounds like fun.
I love the smash.
Yeah. Just make sure that you cater to that player if that's the way you're going to pitch it. Don't then put them into a political intrigue campaign where they never get to hit things.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
So delving back into history a little bit. So there's kind of a meme about barbarians not being able to read, and that does have some basis in history. Back in 3rd edition, barbarians at level 1 were not literate. And if you wanted your barbarian to be able to read, you had to spend a skill point to learn how to read. Now, every once in a while, you'll run into somebody who just assumes that barbarians are illiterate. That is where that comes from. It's not like some rule you missed somewhere. It's something dating back to 3rd edition that has just kind of baked itself into the collective hive mind. And sometimes people forget that it's not in 5th edition. So should we talk about rage?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to rage.
Yeah. Who would?
Rampage.
Rampage.
My backup idea for art today was I was just going to draw someone shouting, "I would like to speak to the manager," which, when you think about it, kind of a rage.
Yeah.
Well, as long as we're talking about that stuff like that, so something that a person that I see people talk about is a lot of times what makes people think playing a barbarian is kind of boring, is that they kind of get pigeonholed into one shtick, which is they get angry and they do a lot of damage. But rage, I feel, is kind of a limiting term. I think you can quantify rage in a lot of different terms. Like maybe rage is maybe you're a skinny twee guy normally, but then when you rage, you Hulk out, sort of like Bruce Banner. So that could be fun.
Some giant, perfect.
Yeah, some people get rage with like a quiet, angry, sort of sinister rage. Like, I'm going to break your spine over my knee, and I'm going to enjoy it. Or you could just be like, maybe rage is something that you do, like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, like you drink a potion and it causes your body to morph and mutate. So don't think that rage as a barbarian, if you feel it's limiting, it doesn't have to just be, scream, rage, anger all the time. You can play it different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey, flavor's free. So,
exactly.
Mechanically, rage, this is the barbarian's central feature. Like, this is why you play a barbarian. You turn it on, it lasts a minute, you have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, which is the damage types that weapons do. You get a small damage bonus every time you hit with a strength-based melee attack. really the only problem with rage is you have to do certain things to keep it going, and that can be kind of limiting. Like, sorry, you also can't cast spells or concentrate on spells, so it's very difficult to do things like, oh, I'm a wizard barbarian and I cast a concentration buff and then rage. It's very hard to do that. So to keep rage going, you have to attack a hostile creature, like that is primarily what you're going to be doing, or you have to have taken...
You don't have to hit, you just have to attack them.
Correct. Or you have to have taken damage. So the trick that I occasionally suggest to get around this, if it's a problem for you, pour Alchemist Fire on yourself. You'll take 1d6 damage every turn, which is kind of a pain, but it will keep you in your rage if that's all that you need. Now, notably, this causes a problem for a few things, like Dragonborn barbarians can't use their breath weapon without breaking rage. The updated version of the Dragonborn in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, you can replace one of your attacks during the attack action. So after level 5, it's less of an issue, but like Player's Handbook Dragonborn Barbarian, basically unplayable.
And the reason for that,
it's not an attack. Like the breath weapon is not an attack, so it doesn't continue your rage.
So because they're making a saving throw, it isn't an attack, it's a saving throw, and therefore you haven't actually made an attack. As a DM, would you mechanically just allow that? Like, if the spirit of it feels like dealing damage.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyone who rules it differently, you're a dick of a DM. Sorry. Yeah. It's just that you are pigeonholing your players. Don't do that unless you're at an Adventures League, which in that case, I understand.
From what we've seen in, we're recording this after 2 weeks of 2024 rules previews, and from what they've said about the Barbarian, they have changed it. So now if you force a saving throw, that also continues your rage, or you can just spend a bonus action to keep it going. So it's way easier to deal with in the 2024 rules, but in the 2014 5e rules, kind of a pain. Now, also super important, you only get a few rage uses per day. So if you're doing the typical adventuring day, like as recommended in the Dungeon Master's Guide, you can't afford to rage in every encounter you're in. Like, the adventuring day rules expect 8 to 10 encounters per day. You get at most 6 rages per day, which means at high levels, you might be able to rage in 3/4 of the encounters in a decent scenario, but you kind of have to be smart about when to actually use it. If you're using rage in every encounter, you're going to run out, and then you're going to be sad when you need it.
Yeah, it also makes playing a barbarian in gritty realism an exercise in futility and frustration. If you're going to play gritty realism, I would say beg your DM to allow you to get your rages back on a long rest, quote unquote.
The overnight.
On the overnight, just because you're going to have a miserable time otherwise.
100% agreed. It would be ridiculous. You get one rage a day. Let's go. No.
No. If I was doing regular realism, I would allow the barbarians to get that rages back. And if wizards are like, hey, why don't I get spells back if he gets his rages back? I'm like, you can destroy a thing with a thought. If he doesn't have rages, he's effectively useless. He's just like a big piece of celery that's laying in the wind.
Very disappointing. Yeah.
You have insulted Bloody Mary fans everywhere.
Okay. Let's see. The other thing we get at level 1 is unarmored defense. Talked about that a little bit a couple minutes ago. Now, guys, I want you to do something for me. Open up the class description for the Barbarian, either in your player's handbook or on D&D Beyond.
Got it.
And I want you to look at the starting equipment section. And I want you to look there and tell me what you see.
Great axe or martial melee weapon, 2 hand axes or any simple weapon, an explorer's pack, and 4 javelins.
Okay, now what is notably missing from that
armor
list? Yeah, if you take
we got unarmored defense.
Yeah, who needs pants?
That'll cover us, right?
Yeah. Me and my backpack and my loincloth. Where am I hanging all these axes and blades? Who knows?
I mentioned before that I introduced a character to my campaign just completely stark naked in the woods, right? Yeah.
I don't think you told us that.
I didn't tell you this? Yeah. No. He was playing a fool, and the way I introduced him was his suggestion, by the way. He comes out of the woods. They're in the middle of the jungle. He comes out of the woods just stark naked, carrying a bag that he fills with crap that he hits things with. That was his weapon. He used a bag. His name was Sack, and he hit things with his sack.
Is it? I Ooh, I like that. I do like that. Okay, exactly. I like it. Isn't that how Paul Bettany's character got introduced in A Knight's Tale?
Maybe?
Wing Lady in the chat is saying yes, absolutely. I love it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is true. You mean Geoffrey Chaucer? Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But imagine like a big muscly dude who's that.
Yeah.
You know what the first question out of my player's mouth was? How big is he?
It's like 6'6", 6'7". You know,
no,
it's the scene from
not that.
We're aware.
I had him roll for it.
You're talking about bicep. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, totally.
Roll a d12. Yeah, it's like the opening scene for Terminator, right? It's like, give me your pants.
Yeah,
your clothes, your shoes, and your motorcycle.
Sack is maybe one of my favorite characters I've ever run before. My player played him very well, and it was a good advertisement for the Fool class that B has been working on. It's really fun.
Nice.
All right, so that's everything we get at level 1. Like, as usual, very front-loaded, lots of things to learn very quickly. Rage, very important, and you only get 2 uses per day at level 1, so you do have to be very, very careful with those, because if you go into a combat without rage going and you're not careful, you'll just die. So I strongly recommend wear a shield. Just wear a shield. Suck it up. I understand it's not a great axe.
We don't need shields in this house.
I know.
You little ninny.
A shield?
No. You use another goblin's face as a shield. That's what you do.
All right.
It's literally meat shield.
Yes,
why is that not in the core rules? All right, so we're going to level 2, right?
Level 2. All right, so we get more really fun stuff at level 2. So we get Reckless Attack first. So this is another one of those things where it's like basically autopilot for barbarians. So there is some nuance here that we need to talk about. So the basics of a Reckless Attack are you start your turn, you make your first attack and say, I'm going to attack recklessly this turn. All of your attacks for that turn get advantage. All attacks against you until the beginning of your next turn have advantage. So like you are giving everyone else advantage to hit you in exchange for advantage to hit all the things. So it's very high risk, high reward.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Now there's a couple of things that people miss in here. So in the 2014 rules, Reckless Attack ends at the end of your turn. It does not apply to opportunity attacks.
Makes sense.
Very important. Yeah. Super annoying, but very important. And it only gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength. So like a lot of people try to make Reckless Attack work for rogues. It is technically possible. It's not a good idea.
Have they discussed Reckless Attack in the 2024 rules yet? Remind me.
They have not.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if we see any changes, they'll probably be pretty minor. I sure hope that they fix the opportunity attack thing, but we'll see.
We also skipped over Danger Sense.
We just got to level 2.
Yeah, we're getting
there's still time.
The source I'm looking at goes Danger Sense, then Reckless Attack. I don't know.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Probably alphabetical
order. That would have made more sense. All right, so Danger Sense. You get advantage on dexterity saving throws against things you can see. So yeah, like there's some limitation on it, but it's great for like fireball and traps and things like that. It's good protection. If your dexterity is decent, it's almost as good as being proficient in dexterity saves. Not quite, but it's the closest you're likely to get.
Help my imagination. What's the kind of thing that I wouldn't be able to use Danger Sense? Like, are there any spells where you would say, yes, it's a dexterity saving throw, no Danger Sense won't apply?
Some DMs I've seen, and I think they're wrong, have made the argument that if you can't see the origin point of the effect, then you can't use it. I'm just like, that's a stickler ruling. I hate it. I understand why you chose to do it that way, but you're making a character's class feature worse for no good reason, and it's not like it's going to break your precious game if you just let them have advantage.
Okay,
so like if
there's no facing rules.
No, but I think that I've seen before, and this is the other reason I hate it. It feels like a gotcha moment from the DM. Is that you're in a dungeon, there's a door, an open doorway, and a sorcerer shoots a lightning bolt from the other room. Since I can't see him because he's in the other room and he's in the darkness, I can't then get that effect. Even though I can see it coming at me, I can't use it. That's a stupid ruling. Don't do that.
Like
it's very confrontational. It's a gotcha moment, and it's going to piss your barbarian off. Yeah. Just let them do it. If it makes sense, I would say pretty much all dexterity saving throws they should be able to do. If they're able to do traps, just let them do it with everything.
Okay. The one thing I can imagine based on everything that we talked through, I'm aligned with you on dexterity saving throws for spells. If it were a trap, like an arrow, like shooting out of a wall or something like this in dark, and I don't have dark vision,
you can hear
like it isn't okay. Well, now I'm being the stickler.
Like
uncanny sense. It doesn't say see. Okay, no, it's fair. I heard the thwing and I was like, nope, I'm getting out of the way. Okay, no, you win. I'm with you.
Yep.
All dexterity saving throws.
Yeah.
Give them something. Okay, cool. Danger sense. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't break a lot. I mean, at most, they're going to be able, because dexterity is not really a feature that they focus on. At most, it's just going to put them on par with everyone else. By taking this away from them at certain when you feel like it, it creates a hostile environment between you and your player about how they always have to argue. It's going to be an argument every time a dexterity save comes up at your table. So just let it go. Let it go. It is not worth arguing over.
Oh yeah.
I think they would have. I think they would have been better if they had just said, "You get advantage on dexterity saving throws." That's
and
it.
We're done. Okay, here's what I'll say. This is a great session 0 topic. If you're thinking about playing a barbarian, or DMs, if you have a barbarian coming to the table, set expectations. And if it takes you more than a paragraph to explain when you're going to allow danger sense and when you're not going to allow danger sense as a DM, you're being a jerk. Simplify it. And barbarians, go get what you can. Ask for everything. and then send them to this podcast link. And have them listen.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, I think we're ready to get to level 3. Before we start talking about subclasses, let's go ahead and talk about the optional class feature, Primal Knowledge, and then we'll come back and we'll do that deep dive on subclasses.
I like that plan. All right, so Primal Knowledge, very simple. At levels 3 and 10, you get 1 additional skill proficiency chosen from the Barbarian's list of class skills. So it's that same kind of disappointing list earlier.
You know, you had a hard time picking the second. Now you get the third.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Nature is fine. Maybe intimidation.
I would say intimidation would be the obvious third one. But yeah, I mean, the rest of them are just, they're bad. The problem is that because the barbarian is so strength focused, there's only one skill that feeds into their playstyle, and that's athletics. After that, there's no other skills. There's no other skills that are governed by strength. So you're kind of out of luck. It made more sense back in 3rd edition when there were several skills that worked off of strength. It still wasn't a lot, but it was more than one. So
jump, climb.
At least it's doing and that's the other thing. So your two focuses are strength and constitution. Strength has 1 governed skill. Constitution has 0 governed skill. So
But you got that stick D12 for hit die, so that's pretty great, right?
Yeah, and your con saves are ballin', so that's something.
Yeah. You know, that way you can maintain concentration for all the... No, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do subclasses. Who's stoked?
Yeah, I'm excited.
So many.
Yeah.
Ash, do you want to take us on an adventure?
Let's do it. Okay. Doing our normal thing, yay or nay. Ancestral Guardian. Meh. I would say it, to take a phrase from Tyler about the Ranger, it is aggressively fine.
Yeah. I think it's very powerful, but it is kind of boring. Like they get one button basically.
It's like the champion. It's the champion fighter of Barbarian. It is pretty good. It's just really boring.
Yeah, it's fair. Honestly.
I wish it was better because you're channeling the power of your ancestors. Come on, give me more to do with that. I have the spirits bard over here who's talking to spirits and changing their skill proficiencies and all that stuff. I get to speak with dead. Cool. That I'm never going to use because the cleric's right over here. Battle Rager. Oh God, this was a bad class. This is a bad class. People were really mad at this class when it came out.
Yeah.
First of all, it has a race restriction, which no other subclass has, which is wild.
Blade Singer did when we got it the first time.
Yeah, and they changed that because everybody hated it.
And they never reprinted Battle Rager.
You have to be a dwarf.
Yeah, they never reprinted Battle Rager because it was unsalvageably bad. It's not a terrible concept. It's all about like you wear spiked armor and you run into battle and smash things with your spiked armor. And like, sure, I could see that for a barbarian. That's fine. But the stats on the armor.
I will say, I have seen one person play this in my entirety of being a GM. It was the first campaign I ever ran. and they seemed like they were having an okay time with it. It was not nearly the strongest person in the party, but for what they were trying to do, they had a good time with it. So if you like hugging people to death, cool, play this class. There are way better options, but you do you.
I'm just gonna grapple you.
Yeah,
Beast
aggressively.
So good. Beast is
Beast.
so good, and it's so much
love
fun.
Beast.
Yeah,
Beast is cool. Beast is like lycanthrope light, which is dope.
Yeah.
I like that. I honestly forgot Beast was here. Yeah. Beast is good.
So, Jungle Skog was half of the Beast Barbarian, right?
He was. Yeah, my beloved Barbarian Skog. Yeah. Played him for over a year. Took the chef feat. Yeah.
Made narwhal sausage.
Yeah. He's a good character.
Oh boy. Been waiting for this
favorite.
One. Berserker. Everybody's favorite. Berserker.
Yep.
It could be good if it wasn't so garbage.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
Yeah, if they
if they changed the one thing, it could be a halfway decent class, which we all know what that is. Being able to attack an extra time shouldn't give you exhaustion, because exhaustion is so brutal. It is not worth it ever to do that. And that makes, because of that one feature, it could have been a halfway decent class. It is the worst subclass of Berserk Barbarian. Yeah. Maybe a little bit better than Battle Rager, but I would argue they're about the same level of garbage.
Battle Rager can't kill you for using your class features.
True.
Like Frenzy,
that's 100% true.
If you somehow make it to 20th level as a Berserker Barbarian, if you use all 6 of your rages in a day, you die from exhaustion. Name one other subclass that can kill you for using it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Are there spell options to reduce exhaustion?
Restoration. It costs like several hundred gold pieces worth of diamonds, and it's a 5th level spell.
Feels totally worth it. Yeah, it feels totally worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on from that awful thing, I need a palate cleanser. And fortunately, we have one. It's Giant. Giant is fun. I love Giant. It's a blast. It's, in my personal opinion, I know everybody's going to disagree with me because I know which one people will say is the best Barbarian, but they're wrong. I think this one is the best. I like this one a lot.
Look, it's a big one.
It's up there. Yeah.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha. I see what you did there.
Path of the Giant is really good, though. I'm with you on that, Ash.
Storm Herald. I wish it was better, but it's fine.
Yeah. Like, it's good. It's not amazing. Like, it's...
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely... It's better than Ancestral Guardian and Battle Rager, but that's like a low bar.
You mean Berserker and Battle Rager?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would say it's on the same level as Ancestral Guardian.
I think Tyler likes it better. I think Tyler likes Ancestral Guardian better than he
likes Storm. I know he does because it's more powerful, but I would argue if we're factoring both power level and funness to play, I would say they're on the same level.
Yeah, I would much rather...
Storm Herald is weaker, but it's more fun to play. Ancestral Barbarian is more powerful, but it's boring as hell to play. So that's why they're equal in my head.
I would much rather play Storm Herald than Ancestral Guardian. Like, as good as Ancestral Guardian is, like, great, I'm going to push my one button. Look at me go. Boop. Button pushed. You played Ancestral Guardian.
Yeah, it's so bad. Totem Warrior, I think, is going to be everybody's default choice for best Barbarian. And it's for one feature and one feature alone, and that is Bear Totem.
Yep.
It's good. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be boring, it's good. And it does have a lot of decision points, but the problem is I never see anybody take anything except Bear if they're going Totem Warrior. Because the rest are just not as good. I do hope they change that in the 2024 rules. Because,
better animal options.
Yeah, better animal options, exactly. Wild magic, fun, unreliable, but fun.
It occurs to me on our subclasses page, I have these out of order. Z is at the end, Tyler, you idiot.
Oh, dear. Oh, my God.
It's okay. Hey, look, the alphabet gets the best of all of us.
Wild magic. Good, not great. A lot of fun.
Zealot. People like it for one thing, but I think it's ultimately not a very good class.
Yeah. So it has 2 good things going for it. It's got the, like, you can be resurrected for free, and then also it's got an on-hit damage boost once per turn, which is pretty good. I am of the opinion that if you have to die or nearly die for your subclass to matter, then your subclass doesn't matter. If you're dying frequently enough that, like, budgeting for your resurrection is a huge problem for the entire party, you probably should play a different character, or at least play a barbarian different.
Do things
I would
differently.
argue.
Yeah.
So my argument counter to that is that if you're playing a barbarian, statistically you're the most likely to die because if you're not getting in the thick of things, getting slapped all around and taking a bunch of hits, you are not doing your job. Get in there. Get into the scrum. I've seen more barbarians die in my campaigns than I have seen any other class, and that includes wizards, surprisingly, because people who play wizards know better than to get into the front line where they're going to be hit. Yeah. So if you're past level 1 as a wizard, then statistically your odds of survival jump up a bunch. If you're past 1 as a barbarian, your likelihood of dying just continues to plummet. Just the higher you get as a barbarian, the more likely it is that you are going to die first. And probably die in the first round of combat, if we're being honest.
But I hope not.
Just the extra crits from reckless attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because once you get to, we'll talk about the problems with barbarians at high levels, but once you get to like level 20 and stuff, you have like these death rays and disintegration rays that will absolutely one-shot you as a barbarian. Unless you're playing a totem warrior, a bear totem, which is why everybody plays it, because of survivability issues in the late game. But yeah. Oh, there's one more. We've talked about Tal'Dorei stuff before, so maybe we can talk about this one, Juggernaut. Sure. I actually don't know anything about this class.
Okay, have you played Super Smash Brothers?
Yes.
Okay,
never heard it called that, but keep going.
Super Smash Brothers? The name of the game?
What do you call it?
Smash Bros?
Okay,
sure.
Smash Bros. All right.
The abbreviation, that's fine. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with the home run bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now imagine that as
what if that was a barbarian?
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
Okay, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
that's pretty dope. Actually, I have to say that's pretty cool.
Like it's not super powerful, but you just home run bat your problems, and that's fun.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Not that this is the thing that matters right now, but I'm not crazy. It's actually Super Smash Bros. It's not Smash Brothers.
I do love how Tyler used the teacher way of saying it. Has anybody here played Nintendo US's Super Smash Brothers? Yes? No?
Yes. Yes, the Mario
I too
brethren.
enjoy a good smashing. The Mario brethren, yes. No. The plumbers too, yes. Yes, quite. Anyway, what subclass is everybody going?
I think I'm going to go for Ancestral Guardian. I'm going to try and make it fun.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go Wild Magic, and it's absolutely going to be fun.
I'm going Giant because it's the only subclass that I actually like. I like Beast. Beast is cool. I forgot Beast was a thing, but I decided beforehand that I'm playing Giant, and the idea I have in my head is very funny. I'm going to be playing a fairy giant barbarian.
Oh, yeah, that is cool. Okay, all right. Okay, set that up for people. Like, what's a signature thing for Path of the Giant?
So, Path of the Giant, I'll just go over my features then. So, first off, I get giant power. I can read, speak, and write giant. Cool. Aside from Draconic, the other language that most likely comes up in games that I've played is giant. So let's see. I also learn a cantrip of my choice, either Druidcraft or Thaumaturgy. I'm probably going to pick Druidcraft just because it uses my wisdom, and I'm not going to affect anyone with my 10 wisdom with Thaumaturgy. So yeah, I'm just not going to do that.
Thaumaturgy doesn't have an offensive effect. That's the one, like, you can make harmless tremors, you can make your voice loud, or make your eyes glow.
That's fair. I guess you could do that, but Druidcraft is just more useful. Like, they can do more things. So I'm just going to go with that. Then the big flagship thing that I get is no, Wing Lady. I haven't talked about this build before, I don't think. I think, you're thinking of, I did mention fairies before on the podcast. I mentioned an oops all. I think it was you asked the question, what race would you pick for an oops all campaign? And I think fairies with polymorph would be hilarious because you could just turn all of your party into T-Rexes and they could fly. And that was old school fairies. I'm doing actual published fairies, which are not as cool, but they're still fun. So, Giant's Havoc, Crushing Throw. When I make a successful ranged attack with a thrown weapon using Strength, you can add your rage damage bonus to the attack's damage roll. Cool. And the big one, Giant Stature. Your reach increases by 5 feet, and if you're smaller than large, you become large, along with anything you're wearing. If there isn't enough room for you to increase in size, your size doesn't change. So one of the things I had originally thought with Giant Barbarian is that you can reduce yourself to get huge. You can't do that. You could have someone cast it on you to become huge, but it specifically says that if you are smaller than large, you become large. So you would have to cast it after, not before. And since I'm going to be raging, exactly. So fairies do get a large reduce. That's obviously not going to be useful for me unless I cast on someone else, which cool. But it is still very funny to be a small-sized fairy that turns into a large-sized problem and can fly. Because I can still fly regardless of my size, as long as I am not wearing medium or heavy armor, which I'm not planning to. So,
sure.
I mean, fly. I would much rather fly than avoid being hit, because realistically, I don't really care about being hit all that much as a barbarian.
All right. Randall, what do you get at level 3?
So I said I'm going Path of Wild Magic. I get magic awareness. Essentially, I'm aware of magic around me. I can use this feature up to proficiency bonus per long rest. It's fine. It's exciting. Cool for a barbarian. Could be some fun flavor. Mechanically could be impactful. It's great. Very happy. What I'm here for is Wild Search. I'm not going to read all of these, but essentially every time I enter my rage at this point, I'm going to roll a d8. I'm going to look at a table, and I'm guaranteed to have a beneficiary effect. Like, it will help us no matter what. None of these things are harmful. None of these things are going to break the game or kill us. And so, I just have a cool rider that's going to come into me with my rage, and that's going to get better over time. The one thing that I'll gripe about is that for all of the things that deal damage or increase my AC, none of these things scale with level. So I'm going to get to level 20. I'm still going to be rolling on my Wild Search table, and I'm supposed to get excited because I get to deal an extra 1d6 of damage per turn.
Yeah, scaling all that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think if I would allow it, like looking at how cantrips scale, and basically just give the exact same thing. And I don't think that would break the game.
Yeah, I could see it. All right. Oh, hey, I'm scrolling around on D&D Beyond looking at the subclass features. You know who else has Zealot and Wild Magic out of order? D&D Beyond does.
D&D Beyond. That's all. Yeah. Great minds think alike.
Guys, do you not know your ABCs? Come on.
No. Because what it is, everything else is Path of the. It's Path of the something. This is Path of Wild Magic. It's not Path of the Wild Magic. Oh,
that's what it is.
So TW.
And I just forget the T.
Seems like an excuse to avoid your ABCs. That's all I'm saying.
It seems like they automated it and nobody. Yeah. The computer's got me.
Okay, so I'm going Ancestral Guardian. So at level 3, I get Ancestral Protectors. Now, I like this one a lot. While you're raging, the first creature you hit with an attack on your turn becomes the target of yada yada, hinders its attacks. Until the start of your next turn, the target has a disadvantage on any attack roll that isn't against you. And when the target hits a creature other than you with an attack, that creature has resistance to the damage dealt by the attack. So, like, very, very strong taunt mechanic. It gives whoever you hit a big incentive to attack you instead of attacking your allies. Now, like, you're probably using reckless attack, so they have advantage to hit you and disadvantage to hit your party. So, like, that's real good tank stuff. That's good work. You probably want to protect yourself a little bit, like a shield, maybe some temporary hit points, whatever you can get. But yeah, like, that's going to draw a lot of attacks toward you away from your party members.
Yeah. Not that you weren't planning on attacking on your turn, but also that's going to help rage keep going because you're probably going to get punched in the face.
Yeah. I think the way that I would do this is I would go like whip and shield. So I have the I have the durability, and then I have reach. So like I can walk in, hit stuff, move annoyingly far away so that they have to chase me, hopefully away from my allies, and just kind of abuse that tactic as much as possible.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so that's level 3. We talked about primal knowledge already. So now we get to level 4, and we get our first ability score increase or feat. What is everybody looking at?
I'm gonna go with Strike of the Giants, Fire Strike.
Okay, perfectly fine choice.
So I can do an extra 1d10 damage on my weapon attacks.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to decide, like, what is a good feat for me if I'm using a whip? Shame on me for not thinking of this earlier. So I think I'm going to go for Slasher, actually. So It's not always a fantastic pick, but Slasher is great if you're using a weapon that's doing slashing damage. If you're serving as your party's front line, you get a +1 strength or dexterity increase, so I'll get my strength to 18. And then once per turn, when I hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, I can reduce their speed by 10 feet. So like I can do my annoying tactic where I go in, whip 10-foot speed penalty, and then walk further away. So they might just barely be able to get into reach with me, but a lot of creatures just won't be able to reach me. So no matter what they do, they're going to have disadvantage, and whoever they hit is going to have resistance to whatever damage they do. Yeah. So I'm being a huge pain right from level 4.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to go with Great Weapon Master.
Excellent choice.
Okay, so I'm reckless attacking all the time. I'm rolling with advantage. Note, remember, I'm to engage with the additional 10 damage feature. You take a -5, but I'm taking -5 on a roll I have advantage on.
Yeah.
The likelihood of me critting is higher. There's a lot of fun things that are going to happen here. Where Great Weapon Master, if I crit, I get to make another melee weapon attack as a bonus action.
Yes.
All of these things are fun for me.
Yeah. Great Weapon Master is fantastic for barbarians, and since you have the advantage from reckless attack, you have to worry less about being on the fundamental math curve. All right, Ash, what did you say you were taking?
Strike of the Giant's Fire. Also, instead of doing the usual barbarian thing and going to axe, I'm going
Pike. An excellent choice for the barbarian.
Because my reach is already increased by 5 feet when I rage. So now my reach is increased even further. So it's now 10 feet, I think. Is that right? Or is it? No, it's 15 feet now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
All right. So that brings us to the end of Tier 1.
Okay, cool. So that wraps up Tier 1 of the Barbarian, levels 1 through 4. Join us next time when we do Tiers 2 through 4. We're going to go level 5 to level 20 on these Barbarians. It's going to be a great time. I'm sure at the end of this, we will be very excited about the Barbarian capstone. Stay tuned to find out. We have a question of the week this week. This week, our question of the week comes to us from Thayer Turnpike Rutabaga. That's right, at Thayer TR. Everyone has one. What is your favorite memory for a D&D or Pathfinder game?
Ooh, good one.
Love questions from Thayer. Thayer transports radium.
Not an accusation.
No. Yeah. Gosh, I have a lot of good ones. I feel like most of the time when I get asked this, my favorite memories are always from something dumb that I've done or from a TPK, just because they stand out so much. Yeah. Sincerely, like one of my favorite, I'm going to try doing real words now. They're going to come out of my face. These words from my word hole.
It's a good place. It's a great place. That's where I source mine too.
Yes. So I think I've told this story on the podcast before. The worst game that I've ever DM'd. High school, we were playing D&D at lunch, and I really just wanted to run a dungeon crawl. It was 3rd edition, like we weren't going to have time to do anything super serious, so I figured just like, we'll fight some monsters, we'll get some treasure, we'll get to play with builds, it'll be a lot of fun. And I didn't place any kind of restriction on what kind of characters could bring beyond just like, yes, is it rules legal? So naturally, my party brought the craziest bunch of oddballs. We had a half troll and a cat person and like a demon of some kind. It's just like, it's super wacky nonsense. The first scene, they meet in a tavern, immediately devolved into a barroom brawl. And I got frustrated with that, so I just teleported them to the dungeon I wanted to put them through. And then they all looked at each other and all decided everyone else in the party looks like monsters and proceeded to murder each other. And at the time, it truly was suffering. But looking back on it, like I can say, like, I learned a lot from that experience. I have grown a lot as a player. And now I kind of look back on that with like, I was charmingly naive at the time. Like kind of
I think you have told the story.
Yeah.
I feel like this question has been asked before, actually, because I remember answering a similar question.
It is entirely
so if I repeat myself as well,
it's a solid question.
No, it is a solid question. If I repeat myself before, I apologize. I'll try to tell a story. You guys stop me if you've heard this story before. So I have 2 that I can't really pick between. I know I've told the story about the time loop one that I thought was really, really cool. with the sack that I mentioned before, giving his familiar to his past self. I think I've told that story before.
Yeah, you have. That was a really cool story.
A good story. Yeah.
It was awesome.
We should. I wish we could find the podcast that was on to link that in the show notes for people to listen to. I know we can't. I'm not going to pretend we can.
No,
but it's a really good story.
It's a really good story. If you can track it down, it's one of the more powerful moments in my D&D history that I've ever had happen. I also told the story like just recently about the Uno reverse thing that I did as a witch, which was very fun. Yeah, that was cool. Did I tell the story about either one of the players hugging a villain defeating a villain with hugs, or I did tell that one. Okay,
I've heard this. It was been like, actually, that's a great one, and it has probably been well over a year since you have talked about it.
And then the other one that I also want to briefly tell, it's a quick one. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Did I tell the one about the siege where the character took an impossible shot against the villain?
No. I don't think I've heard of that.
No.
Then that's the new one that I will tell. But let me tell the other one first. So for those who haven't heard this story before, there was this character, and it was a B character. Surprise B characters tend to be some of my favorite characters. They're really good at creating characters. It was a child character. He was about like 12. His name was Boli. And the thing that I absolutely loved about Boli was he was a really earnest person who wanted to see the best in people, even though everybody, even their fellow players, like the fellow characters in their party, were telling them, you're being naive. This person is just at the core irredeemable evil. And Bully was like, I don't want to believe that. I want to try to have a conversation with this person and get their side of the story. And I was so happy that they did that, because at one point, this is a different part of the story I'm not going to tell, but at one point they went against the party's wishes and went into the castle of the queen, the tyrant queen that was ruling over the city, because everybody thought that she was evil. And I was trying to communicate that she was a complex character. She's not just fully evil. She has very good reasons for what she's doing. And Bully was the only one who was willing to hear her out. And I was so happy that B gave me the opportunity to play one of my favorite characters, NPC characters. I was really attached to this character that I was just afraid that the players were just going to write off. But that's just me gushing on Bully. So the main story is that, so they were fighting this group of Yuan-Ti cultists. And they had fought this one guy, the Scion is what his name was. He was like the main dragon. Dragon is a term for like right-hand man of the evil bad guy, the big bad evil guy. He was the main dragon, and they had fought him several times, but he had escaped every time because he was essentially holding himself together through pure hatred. Oh. Every time they tried to kill him, he would just reform out of pure hatred. And so he had all this gross, cracked skin and stuff like that. Nobody knew how long he had been around. Anybody who has played Knights of the Old Republic 2, that's where I based the character off of. Scion, that's where I got it. But so they're fighting this guy, and one of the other players spouts out this argument. It's like, hey, your religion is wrong and you're being deceived. And I was like, okay, roll a diplomacy check. And they didn't roll very well. I was like, yeah, he's like, okay, you're a liar, but all right. And kept attacking them. And then Bo Lee it took 2 rounds of setup to do what they were doing. They said, they first started off, they didn't attack the Scion at all. They said, hey, I know what you're going through. I know that it's hard to lose everything. I know it's hard to feel like you're failing your people, and this is the only way that you know how to save them. But I want you to know that you're not alone and that there are people who do care about you. And I was like, okay. And and Bully, instead of attacking them, tried to grapple them, to hug them. And they succeeded on the grapple, which was insane because this guy's strength it was a tiny little kid who's a druid who was trying to like grapple this like warrior guy, and he succeeded. And I was like, okay, that's your turn. It comes back around, and Bully was like, Bully, what are you doing? He said, I just want to say again, it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to be loved and respected. And I was like, man, that's really good. I'm going to give you proficiency in charisma, proficiency in persuasion, even though you don't have it. And I'll let you roll with wisdom instead of charisma for your persuasion check. And I'll let you do it with advantage because you're hugging them, because you sacrificed your turn to do this. And they rolled a double crit.
Oh, wow.
We actually have a picture. We have a picture of it. It was incredible. They rolled 2 nat 20s. And the Scion, I basically was like, okay, the Scion basically dropped his weapon and just grabbed Boley and hugged onto him and just started crying. And because nobody had ever told him that he was worthy of respect or worthy of love, because he was just told to be this machine of hatred and anger. And I'm just getting a little misty-eyed just talking about it because it was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, what you're describing, like, it reminds me of the scene in Good Will Hunting between Robin Williams and Matt Damon's characters. Like, it's not your fault. Yeah, I know. No, it's not your fault. Yeah, okay. All right, man. What are you doing? It's not your fault. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what that scene was like. That's exactly what that scene was like. And they turned a guy who they had been fighting against the entire campaign. Like there was the big bad evil guy, but he was like the main face. Like they had fought him several times, and the other story I'm going to tell involves him. This is in an earlier part of the campaign. They'd fought him several times, and they turned him from a villain that they had been fighting against into a staunch ally who helped them in the final battle. And it was awesome. So the other story, this one's a lot quicker, but they were earlier in the campaign. They were being besieged by Yuan-Ti. The Yuan-Ti were main antagonists in my campaign. It was being besieged. The city they were in was being besieged, and they were helping with the defenses. Probably one of the greatest sessions of D&D I've ever ran. By the way, it was. I don't think I'll ever top it. It was a lot of fun. Everybody was having a great time. I think war scenes are some of the hardest things to pull off in D&D, but I was pretty proud of myself with how it shook out. And at one point, the Scion, who I mentioned before, he breaks into the wall riding a giant snake. We're talking about a colossal snake, like it's towering over the city, almost like kaiju levels of snake. And It was going through the city, and I was describing it going past their defensive line and just going towards the middle of the city, hunting like the king of the city. And Sack, who I mentioned earlier, he was like, I am on the ballista. Can I hit him from here? And I was like, it's a 1 in a million shot, man. Like, he's really far. It's a tiny target on a moving body with a ballista. This is a nearly impossible shot, so I'm going to need you to make it. So one of the things that B's Fool class does is it allows you to turn any roll into an automatic critical at the cost of some of your power. It's like you have a limited number of these that you can only ever use throughout the entirety of the campaign. And if you go through all of the fate points that you have, your character effectively loses all of their features. He had 2 of these, and he was like, I'm going to use one of my fate points. And I was like, 1,000,000-to-1 shot. You hit him. He falls off of his snake and lands into the middle of the city. And they're like, yes! And they all chased after him. I was planning on him doing other things, but they turned that into a completely different encounter. And I was just like, that was one of the best arguments for fate points that I've ever seen in the game, because he only ever used it for really epic story moments like that, which I really appreciated. It's also a thing that I think can just be fun, is because I also rewarded him fate points for really cool, powerful story development stuff for his character, which made Sack one of the deepest characters in that campaign because he sought those out. And so I would give him fate points. So if you want to encourage more of that role playing in your party or in your players, use fate points. They're fun.
Nice. Cool. All right. I'm going to do 3 stories, but they're going to be really quick, and I won't make anybody cry. How's that sound?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. All right. The first kind of like family game, it was me, my boys. I think we've talked about this in podcast. It was, I think, the first game Tyler ever ran for us, where we got to the very end and we finally hit the punchline of the dungeon that we're crawling. It was a 5-room dungeon that Tyler had built. If you're not familiar with the 5-room dungeon, we'll link it in the show notes. We did an episode with Johnny 5. No,
John 4.
John 4.
Yeah.
No, 5-room dungeon. You see how my brain. Yeah. Okay, good. John 4. We'll do a link in the show notes. It'll be great.
John 5. I like that.
It would have been a 4-room dungeon. Okay. Anyway, we get to the very end, and like Tyler famously doesn't love to do voices. In his best Swedish chef, introduces the final boss, Erdberg, the Sword Lord, and his Gerd Herd.
Yeah, I remember this story. This is a great story.
My kids lost it. Like it was the best thing they'd ever heard. They were hooked, and you're right, they're still going to this day.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The second, as a player, and it was, I love to run games. I love to DM. I love to GM. I don't play as often. We did it wasn't even a one shot. It was basically just a test session for Tyler's Doom style combat rules, where I built a warlock knowing what we were going to be doing. So I built a sniper, right? Like I'm popping things off as soon as they come up over the horizon. I can see you. And it was just a ton of fun to go that fast to blast everything. Like I felt like I had superpowers, and that felt very rewarding. And I think it maybe made Tyler rethink some things, or maybe he thought it was perfect. I don't know.
If I remember right, like I went into that expecting like this one thing that warlocks can do could be a huge problem, and it functioned exactly how I expected. I'm still very proud of the Doom style combat rules, but I know I am not a level designer. So like that was the weakest part of the whole system, was like that one thing that I suck at. But, all right. So
link in the show notes for that.
Yeah. Wing Lady's asking in the chat, can we hear this in Tyler's version of the voice? All right.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Do it.
I'm trying to remember what the guy said. I'm Urdabur the Sword Lord. You have found my gourd hoard. You must defeat me in single combat so that I may find my final rest. And then, like, every time they'd hit him, I've had him say, like, oof, ow, owie. Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Griffin's first villain in, was it Adventure Zone, with the drow, who's just like, oh no, you've solved my doomsday trap. It was great. I love that. That's an incredible voice. Please use that again. That's incredible.
Okay.
Just the entire back half of the Barbarian episode. That's what you do.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. My third example. Okay, I'm cheating. This isn't D&D and Pathfinder, but it is TTRPG. Okay. So I wrote a Vicen mystery, and we did a guy's weekend away where like we got to the lake house we were going to be at like super late at night. A few of the folks had never played Vicen before. Some of the folks had never played TTRPGs before. Like it was kind of a, well, hey, let's just do one game tonight and we'll see how it goes. It was the first time I'd ever written a Vicen mystery. And the reason I loved it is because it played out beautifully. Like they followed the clues. Everything worked. Like the session worked. And we got to the culmination of it. A very funny thing happened, and everybody, like falls over laughing. Like we spend a good bit of time just having like a hearty chuckle over the thing that happened. And then they managed to solve the final mystery, like literally a couple rolls away from one of the characters absolutely dying.
Yeah.
Wow. Like another person figured out what to do and yelled the answer out the window to solve the final mystery and basically make sure the Vicen didn't murder everyone. It was, I don't know, it was super rewarding both as a storyteller, as a writer, and then as a GM running a session to just have everything come together as well as it did. And I feel like kind of set the tone for the weekend that, we wound up having a ton of fun.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, we'll see you next time on the RPGBOT.Podcast, where we'll do the second half of Barbarians.
Yeah.
Producer Dan, go and kill it.